Hey guys, Katie Mild. Welcome to this week's Money Minute. So I'm going to start off with a quick story. So a couple months ago, I was in a coaching session with one of my clients, and she's an incredible entrepreneur, very, very successful, built her side business while working a full-time job. She's amazing. But here's the thing. She was overspending, okay? Way, way, way overspending. And so we were diving into her budget. And one of the things that she said was, I work so hard, which is so true. She works her tail off. But she said, I just feel like I deserve it. And I feel like it's so hard to work so hard and then just be disciplined and do the grind of paying off debt. Now, here's the thing. Everything that she was expressing is 100% normal. Listen, if you're in the middle of a debt payoff journey, or if you've paid off your debt and now you're in the middle of your saving journey, your investing journey, you're getting to the next level, wherever you are on your path, sometimes it feels like a slog and sometimes it just plain sucks. There's no getting around it. Now, here's the thing. When you're exercising that discipline and doing what you need to do to get out of whatever jam you're in or get to that next goal that you're trying to do, in those really, really hard times, especially when you're working hard and especially when you're doing all the right steps, that is often the time when our little inner rebel comes out. Okay, now here's the thing. We all have an inner rebel, okay? Every single one of us has that, I don't even want to say angel or devil, but we have that little mischievous rebel who sits on our shoulder and goes, you know what? You deserve this. You know what? You've been so good at keeping your budget and you've made all this progress, but you can slip up a little bit. It won't really matter, will it? We all have that little inner rebel, that little person in our minds who's wanting us to get off track. Now, here's the problem. If we listen to that inner rebel too often, that's where things go really wrong. But we can't deny that the inner rebel's there, okay? That little inner rebel is there talking to us all the time. And so what are we going to do? We can't ignore it. The voice is just going to get louder. It's just going to get louder and louder and louder. So here's what you do. It's really, really important to tame the inner rebel. You have to acknowledge its presence, recognize it's there, but here are just a few things that you can do to remind yourself and remind the inner rebel that you're in charge and you have goals that are worth going after. So, step one, accept that there are certain creature comforts that you like. Here's the deal, guys. It's okay to want to buy yourself a latte on your way to work. And if you do it more days than not, that can be okay too. And I'll get to more of why in just a second. If you like getting your nails done, that's fine. If you like eating out with friends, if you like traveling, if you like buying nice things, there is nothing wrong with that. So start by doing this. Accept the fact that there are certain creature comforts that you just like because you're human and you just enjoy them. And they don't necessarily work for you, but you enjoy them. So step one is accepting it. Okay, it is okay to want these things, and it's also okay to recognize that you want them in your life. Now, here's what you do. You may have to also recognize that while you like XYZ, you may not be able to afford X, Y, and Z all at this time, right? There's an old saying that says you can have it all, just not at once. And that is very, very true when you're on a financial journey, okay? So start by accepting that it's okay to like these things, but you're going to have to prioritize them because you may not, depending on your budget, be able to afford all of them at once, okay? The next thing, I always tell every single one of my clients this. Whatever your creature comforts are, whatever that looks like, work it into your dynamic budget. You need to always have a line item strictly for fun. It's so important to enjoy life, okay? So literally, when you're building out or adjusting and tweaking your dynamic budget, add a line item if it isn't already there and call it your fun fund or call it your coffee fund. Call it whatever it is that brings you that extra joy, but you are constantly feeling guilty or shamed about. You don't have to. Just work it in and make sure that you enjoy it within the limitations that you've set up, okay? Here's the next one. Organize your dynamic budget such that the pay yourself first line item, and that is your retirement, your wealth building, building something now for your future self, that has to be number one, okay? Put that literally as the number one line item on your budget and make sure that every single month you pay yourself first, and then you'll figure everything else out. Now, I also advocate doing this even when you're paying off debt, because I believe that you need to actively always be thinking about your future, even when you're on a debt payoff journey. So pay yourself first and then worry about everything else. By putting it symbolically at the top, that alone will start to turn your mind around. That will force you instantly to think about, okay, I need to make room for X amount for my future, for my retirement. And when you do that first, then it will force you to assess, well, then do I really want to buy coffee every day? Or maybe I just tailor it back to a couple times a week. Or maybe we don't go on vacation this year because I want to really plus up my Roth IRA, but we'll do a vacation next year. By paying yourself first and forcing yourself to look at it first, you will instantly shuffle and reprioritize in your mind. The next thing, and this is really a pro tip, in addition to building a fun line item, I would actually encourage you to add in another buffer line, okay? I am someone who will always advocate for working in buffer wherever you can. If you know, okay, I'm going into a time of year where I may be inclined to spend a bit more, what can you do now to build up that buffer, build up margin so the impact isn't quite as much, okay? So not only have the fun because you know you're going to have fun, you got to satisfy the inner rebel, but then what other margin and buffer can you build in to give yourself just a bit more padding? Last thing, if you decide to go the route of saving up for a short-term sinking fund, and I have plenty of videos on that, just look below. It's okay to create a sinking fund for something super fun and frivolous. I'll give you an example. In our budget, we have a home fund, and that is strictly for fun projects around the house, okay? That also includes my home goods runs, because yes, I love to save money, I love to invest, I also love home goods, and we work money into our budget to support that little fun habit that I have. All right, so those are just a few ways, guys, to really understand and satisfy your inner rebel. We all have one. Don't even deny it. Don't push it away, and don't shame yourself. It's okay to enjoy this life. It's okay to satisfy that inner rebel. Just make sure you work it into your plan and don't let that rebel own you. All right, that's all I have. Have a great weekend. Talk to you guys soon.